Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Stay tuned.
Right after this episode.
For our discussion.
The Outsider will not be presented, so that we may bring you the following special program.
Now, a special program in living color on NBC.
Jack Benny's Birthday Special with his guest stars, Lucille Ball, Dan Blocker, Dennis Day. Introducing Rovon. Special guest star, Lawrence Welk. And Anne Margaret as the Valentine Girl. Brought to you by
Texaco, on behalf of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states who say, fill it up with Texaco Sky Cheap, the gasoline that can drive down the cost of driving and save you money.
And now, the star of our show, Jack Benny.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Jack Benny, and I welcome you to my special. I'm so glad you tuned in, because on tonight's show, I'm celebrating my birthday. And we'll get started in just a minute. But first...
The John Hamlins of Malibu, California are leaving this morning on a cross-country vacation. They'll be able to get whatever their car may need with the one credit card that really gets around. Texaco has the only credit card honored under the same sign in all 50 states and throughout Canada. Ask for an application at your nearby Texaco station. More and more people trust their car to the man who wears the Texaco star.
Now, as I said before, on tonight's show, I'm celebrating my birthday. And doing a show about such an important event gives me a chance to, I can't ignore it any longer. I know you're waiting for an explanation why someone else came out when I was introduced. Well, it wasn't my idea. My writers thought of it. But I'm going to take most of the credit because when they told me what they wanted to do, I liked it. And when they told me to get someone who is hip, cool, and a real swinging cat, I immediately thought of Lawrence Welk. Now, I wanted to talk to Welk personally, but I didn't know where he lived, you see. So I jumped into my car, bought one of those maps to movie stars' homes, and I was on my way. But in the dark, the guy handed me an old map, and I found out that when I arrived at the address, it is now one of those places that sells fried chicken. Now, fortunately, the colonel was there. And he told me that Lawrence Welk lived 2 miles up the hill. So I thanked him, licked his fingers. He smiled down on me, and I drove off. Now, when I got there, I knew I had the right place by the number on the house. A 1, a 2. So I pressed the button on the electric gate, and a voice said, "Who is it?" And I said, "It's Jack Benny." Now, apparently, I pressed the wrong button because when I said it's Jack Benny, the sprinklers came on. So while I was standing there with my suit slowly shrinking, the colonel came up delivering an order. So while I engaged him in conversation, I tied a message to the leg of a chicken. Fate must have been with me because with 20 pieces of chicken in the bucket, Lawrence choked on my message. And he agreed to be on my birthday show. I think it was awfully sweet of him, and now I would like to bring him back and have him take a bow for doing such a wonderful impersonation of me. Lawrence Welk, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you.
It's nice to be invited to your birthday party.
Well, you're certainly welcome. Your imitation, I'll tell you, I can't get over how great you did that impersonation of me.
Why, Jack, I do a lot of impersonations.
You do a lot of impersonations?
Certainly. Get a load of this, Edward G. Robinson.
Edward G. Robinson?
Now, look, you guys, you keep muscling in on my territory, and I'm gonna let you have it, see?
That's wonderful. Wow, that was great. Anybody else?
I can also do Cary Grant.
You can do Cary Grant? Let's hear it, yeah.
Judy, Judy, Judy.
I can't get over it. But look, I must ask you something, though.
What's that?
You do such great impressions. Do you do them on your own show?
Oh, no. On my show, we don't take any chances.
Well, he must be right. He's always in the top 10. Let's see, J. Paul Getty, Onassis, me. Oh, well. I better get on with the show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's special. Now, on tonight's special, we have some wonderful guests who are here to celebrate my birthday. And I know what you're all wondering, but I'm not going to tell you. Anything you want to guess over 39, you're on your own. Anything you want to guess under 60, bless you. But I don't care how old you think I am, because age is actually a condition of the mind. For instance, take Maurice Chevalier. He just celebrated his 80th birthday. Now, there's a man 80 years old, and with him, every little breeze still whispers Louise. With me, I catch a cold. Now, a lot of people who think they know my real age ask me why I don't retire. They say to me, what do you do with all your money? You don't have a yacht, you don't have a jet plane, you don't have a string of racehorses. What do you get out of all of your money? Well, the answer is simple. 7%. Now, I must tell you about a couple of birthday presents that I received. One was from George Burns, a friend of mine.
Pardon me.
Yes, sir.
Did you see some penguins?
Yes, they went that way.
Thank you. One thing about penguins, they have no sense of direction.
You know, on some shows, that information alone could win you a refrigerator. Ladies and gentlemen, on this particular show, I must say I'm very fortunate in having with...
Jack.
Oh, Lucy!
Jack.
What?
I'm just terribly sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so embarrassed that I couldn't wait.
Embarrassed about what?
Well, I talked to you for 20 minutes before the show, and I forgot to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Jack.
Thank you. Lucy, wait a minute. Come here.
Well, that's all I wanted to say.
I know, but as long as you're out here, stay here for a minute.
Well, I'm not supposed to be on now.
You stay anyway. Come here. I'm glad you're on because I want to tell you how pleased I am that you're on my show.
Oh, Jack, I would have been hurt if you hadn't asked me.
What a ridiculous thought. You were the first one I had in mind.
Oh, come on now, Jack. Let's be honest. I wasn't the first. I happen to know that you called London and tried to get Princess Margaret.
Well, yes, Lucy, I'll admit it. But after all, she's rather pretty, and she wouldn't hurt our rating overseas.
No, that's true.
And another thing, she told me she could bring her sister for the same money.
You mean Queen Elizabeth?
Yes.
Well, that would have been a plus.
I'll say, everybody loves the Queen.
Yeah.
Imagine having the Queen of England on my show.
Yeah, and she hasn't been on television since the coronation.
That's right.
And that was a daytime show.
Yeah. Who was the sponsor?
Well, it must have been some margarine company, because suddenly there was a crown on her head.
Say, that's good. That wasn't even in the script.
No.
Did you just think of that?
No, last night I had dinner with Lawrence Welk, and I found it tied to the leg of a chicken.
Gee, that's funny.
Funny? I almost choked on it.
Lucy, that's very strange.
Well, if you think that's strange, when I rang the doorbell, the sprinklers came on.
Now, okay, I'll see you afterwards. Isn't she marvelous? You know, she's so funny, I'm amazed she hasn't got her own show. That's the silliest thing I'll say tonight. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, as I started to say, I'm very fortunate having as one of my guests a young man with a singing voice that will absolutely thrill you. I know you've heard stories about a singer having a voice so strong that merely by singing certain notes, he could create vibrations that would shatter a pane of glass. I thought that was a gag, see? But last night, at a little gathering at my house, he sang for us, and he hit a note with such force that it broke a champagne glass. I know this is true because I was holding the glass in my hand at the time, see? And when he hit that high note, the champagne glass broke, and I got 7-Up all over me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is his first appearance on American television, Rovan.
Pagliacci
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Of all the great songs that are written today, this song happens to be a favorite of mine. Because to me, it expresses the hope of America, and the heart of America, and the dream that is America. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go.
That was great, just wonderful. And I'm glad you sang, Vesta La Juba, that same song you sang at my apartment last night, you know?
Well, thank you, Mr. Benny. And I also appreciate your inviting me to your house for dinner last night.
It was a pleasure having you.
Oh, and here's $1 for that champagne glass I broke.
You don't have to do that, for heaven's sakes.
No, please, Mr. Benny. I insist on paying for it.
Oh. Well, then it was $3. $3? It's $1 for the glass and $2 to have my suit cleaned. The 7-Up was 20 cents, but forget it. Now, Ravon, I was telling the audience that this is your first appearance on television. Isn't that right?
No. I once appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Well, on the Ed Sullivan, well, were you on the stage or in the audience?
Oh, on the stage. I'm not important enough yet to be in the audience.
Well, Ravon, just keep on singing, and someday you will be, you know.
Gee, I hope so. I understand it pays more.
You mean it pays more to be in Ed Sullivan's audience than being on a show?
No. It pays more to be in Ed Sullivan's audience than being on this show.
You know, that's funny. That's a funny joke. Where'd you get it?
Somebody tied it
to the leg of a chicken. I know.
Mr. Benny.
Yes.
Right now, I'd like to sing for you. You know, one thing about penguins, they have no sense of direction.
Now, look, if you're expecting a refrigerator, forget it. Now, what was it you were about to tell me?
Well, Mr. Benny, since this is your birthday...
Yes?
There's something special I'd like to sing, just for you.
For me on my birthday?
Yes. Would you mind sitting over here, please?
Gee, right here, huh?
Yes, right there, please. The lyrics will tell you how we all feel about you.
Gee, I didn't expect this.
Why this feeling? Why this glow? Why the thrill when you say hello? It's a strange and tender magic you do, Mr. Wonderful. That's you. Oh, there's much more I could say, but the words keep slipping away, and I'm left with only one point of view. Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Wonderful, Mr.
This is a business pilot. He flies for companies. This is a private pilot. He flies for pleasure. The planes are theirs, all theirs, and they demand the best for them. That's why they touch down at Texaco Airport dealers' strategic service commands. It's like having a ground crew all their own. There are close to 600 Texaco Airport dealers round the country. All handle the best fuels and lubricants money can buy. All supply the kind of service money can't buy. All honor Texaco credit cards. The Strategic Service Command. They make the business of flying a pleasure. Another reason why more people put their trust in the Texaco Star.
And now, I would like to introduce my next guest, who is one of the stars of that great Western television show, Bonanza. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Blocker. Dan, it's good. Ooh, my bow on. Dan, in the first place, I want to tell you I'm glad you're here with me.
Well, Jack, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
And Dan, I don't have to tell you what a fan I am of yours. In fact, the other day, I went to the set where you were shooting one of your Bonanza episodes. I never saw such action in my life. You pulled a guy out of his chair, hit him with such force, he flew over the table, hit the bar, bounced back across the room. Then you picked him up and threw him right through a plate glass window. Gee, he must have been a great stunt man.
In fact, that wasn't a stunt man that I hit. It was my director.
Your director?
Yeah, you see, he wanted me to do a lot of violence in a scene, and I just don't believe in that.
Imagine an actor hitting a director. In my last picture, the director hit me. Sometimes I slap back, you know. But Dan, how come you talk about being nonviolent, and yet you wear two guns?
Oh, I wouldn't be without them, Jack.
What?
Oh, no, we Cartwrights are always ready. We're always prepared. If a bad guy comes into town and starts some trouble, we don't hesitate. We draw.
Yeah.
We aim.
Yeah.
We fire.
A feather?
Yeah. You see, on the Ponderosa, we tickle them to death.
Well, I'll admit, when a guy dies laughing, you can't call it violence. Where'd you get an idea like that?
The Harper Valley PTA.
Oh. Well, tell me, Dan, I want to ask you something. How long have you been with Bonanza?
Jack, we're in our 10th year.
Imagine 10 years.
Yes, and I'm very grateful. It's given me everything that I ever wanted.
Well, that's nice. And I understand, Dan, you live very modestly.
That's right, Jack. We have a small ranch out in the valley where we raise Black Angus cattle. It's been just wonderful. And I'd be the happiest man in the world except for one thing.
What's that?
Well, you see, every time we drill for water, we strike oil.
Oh, that's off.
Say it is. I want water for my cattle. I don't want oil. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Dan, look, I got an idea that might solve your whole problem.
Yeah, what? What is it?
I'll supply your cattle with bottled water, and you give me that nasty old oil. How about it?
It's a deal, Jack.
Ooh, my bow arm. Well, with all that oil, I won't need it anymore.
Jack, let's quit stalling. Now, let me have it.
Let you have what?
Jack, I know why you invited me to be on your show. I weigh 280 pounds. And you want to use all of those old fat jokes that you used to use on Don Wilson on me.
Dan, I had no intention of doing that.
No? You mean you're not going to ask me if these are all my chins, or am I just chewing on a Venetian blind?
Of course not. I wouldn't do that to you.
How about where you tell me I have to move out of Long Beach to make room for the Queen Mary?
I never did say that to Don Wilson.
I know, Jack. I made that one up myself.
Oh, you... Well, Dan, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I had no intention of using those jokes on you. Now, in the first place, they wouldn't fit. They're perfect for Don Wilson because he really is a sort of a big, fat tub of lard.
But hold it just a minute there.
Don, I didn't know Don Wilson was in the audience.
Jack Benny, you got a lot of nerve. I didn't mind it when I was working for you. You make all those lousy jokes about my size, about my being fat. Why, when I had an operation, you told everybody they took out my stomach and put in a deep freeze.
That's funny.
Oh, you stay out of this, Buster. I didn't mind it then, but you no longer have that privilege.
Hey, Don, it's all just a joke. I mean, like Jack's stinginess.
Well, he ought to make that very clear.
All right, I will, Don. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Wilson is not fat. He actually weighs 97 pounds. But he's been very cleverly passing himself off as a big tub of lard.
There you go again.
There you go again.
Now, Jack, you've just got to apologize to me.
All right, Don, you're right. You are right. I'll apologize. I'll not only apologize to you in person, but I'll even put it in writing and send it to your home in Long Beach.
But I don't live there any longer.
You don't?
No. They made me move to make room for the Queen Mary.
Now, wait a minute, Wilson. That's my joke.
Yeah, I know. I heard you tell it up at Harper Valley.
Did you? Yeah. Listen, I got another one.
Oh, save it, Dad. Come on over a minute, Dan. I want to talk to you. I got a great idea, Dan. Why don't you and I do an act together where we tell fat jokes about each other.
Hey, that's a marvelous idea, Doc.
Yeah, just you and I, huh?
Right.
Oh, we don't need that, old man.
My goodness, they tilted the stage. But you know, it was nice seeing Don Wilson again. I haven't seen him in about 3 years. In fact, the last time I saw him, penguin on roller skates? Well, he must have gotten them for his birthday. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I wanted Dan Blocker to be on this show.
Hello, Mr. Benny. Remember us?
Well, of course I do. I met you girls on my last show. Your father has a Texaco station.
Uh-huh. Do you remember what we told you the last time, Mr. Benny?
What's that?
Sky Chief Gasoline can drive down the cost of driving.
Oh, yes, of course.
And that can save you money. And that's because Sky Chief keeps deposits from building up on valves better than any other leading gasoline.
I remember.
Since tonight is your birthday, our daddy asked us to give you this present.
Oh, my. It's an invitation to come in for a free tankful of Texaco Sky Chief gasoline. Thank you.
Our daddy gave it to you because you're the only man who buys 1 gallon at a time. He'll try anything to get you to fill up.
I knew it.
Oh, Mr. Benny, how old are you now?
Well, now, why don't you... How old do you think I am?
Oh, I don't know. 41, 42.
Well, honey, that's awfully sweet of you, but I'm a little bit older than that. Guess again.
75. Don't forget, Mr. Benny, for products you can trust. You can trust your car to the man who wears the star, the big, bright Texaco star.
End of commercial?
End of commercial.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I wanted Dan Blocker to be on this show is because I thought I was going to do a satire on a Western. Then I realized it is almost impossible to do it because a Western itself is a satire. And the stories are always the same. A couple of characters will step out of the saloon, the wind will be blowing, a lonely tumbleweed will come rolling down the street. One tumbleweed, you see. Then, and you'll recognize the tumbleweed. It's been in a lot of Westerns. Then there's a bad guy that comes in. You know, the tough guy. He always has a rough nickname, a tough, like Deadeye, or the Sundown Kid, or Ringo. Now, why did he come into town? He's gunning for the sheriff. And it's always for the same reason. The sheriff killed his brother. It's never a cousin. It's never an uncle or a nephew. It's always a brother. Remember that when you go to see a Western. Eventually, the bad guy finds the sheriff, and there's a shootout. which is the opposite of a love-in. Now, whoever gets shot, they just let him lie there. They never send for a doctor. You folks have seen that 1,000,000 times. A crowd gathers, but nobody sends for a doctor. Let me show you what I mean. Now you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Awfully quiet town, ain't it? Yeah. I don't blame the folks for staying off the streets after what happened in Dodge City last night.
Well, the sheriff was right. The kid had it coming to him.
Remember what I told you? That tumbleweed has made a fortune in pictures. That's the fella I was telling you about, the bad guy.
Yes, sir? You got a telegram there for me?
What's your name?
Ringo.
Ringo, huh?
Johnny Ringo.
There's a telegram for Deadeye. One for the Sundown Kid. Nothing for Ringo.
Nothing for Ringo, huh?
Nope.
Look under Irving Pincus.
Irving Pincus? That I don't understand at all.
Where's your sheriff at?
He's in his office.
Go tell him that Ringo wants to see him.
Ringo? Yes, sir.
Get a load of this. Wait, folks, wait till you see this.
You want to see me, Ringo?
All right, Sheriff. Go for your gun.
What for?
Because I'm going to kill you.
Why?
Because you killed my brother.
What did I tell you?
Well, I killed your brother because your brother killed my brother.
Well, my brother had every reason in the world to kill your brother because your brother said that my brother...
shut up. It's always a brother.
All right, Sheriff. When I count to 3, you draw. 1.
I get it over with. 3.
You hurt bad, Sheriff? We'll catch that Ringo if it's the last thing we ever do.
You're darn right we will.
Well, it's about time somebody cleaned this town up.
Send for a doctor.
We'll form a posse and start out in the morning.
Send for a doctor.
With men like Ringo around, this town ain't safe anymore.
I'll say it ain't safe.
Wouldn't you think that somebody would call a doctor? Please, call a doctor.
Who do we get for the next sheriff?
We'd better wire Dodge City.
Wait a minute. The big tub of lard isn't dead yet. Call a doctor. See what I told you? It happens all the time. Now here's a Western situation I never believed, and that is where the 5 Dalton brothers, all deadly killers, have just broken out of jail and are heading for town to kill the sheriff, who sent them to prison, and he is ready for them. Now, get a load of this if you want to see something.
Sheriff? Well, Sheriff. What is it? The 5 Dalton brothers are heading this way by train.
I know that, Zeke. That's why I'm going down to the railroad station.
Sheriff, that's suicide. They'll be here at high noon from Phoenix.
I know. That's why I'm getting on the 11 o'clock train to Tulsa. A 1, a 2.
You know, I hate to see him go. He's my kind of a sheriff. And now, ladies and gentlemen, another thing you always see in Westerns is the stagecoach that has been on the way for 35 days, over 2,000 miles of desert and dusty mountain roads. When the passengers step out, the men will be filthy dirty, but the girl will be as fresh as a daisy, as if she has just stepped out of a shower. Didn't I tell you, fresh as a daisy?
Oh, my God. It's hot. Oh. What happened to the water?
I used it to take a shower.
You used all our water to take a shower.
Yeah, now you're complaining, but while I was taking it, you were whistling and applauding.
All right, everybody out of my way. You know what's good for you. Come on.
Wow. You're a new Garland, and you're beautiful. I want a kiss.
Stay away from me.
Oh, now, come on, little lady. Give me a kiss, huh?
I warn you, stay away from me.
Oh, now,
Ladies and gentlemen, this has gone far enough. I better get into this. Howdy, ma'am.
Howdy.
Are you the new school marm?
Yes, I came all the way from Boston, and I was told I would be met by the sheriff.
Well, little lady, I got some bad news for you. The sheriff was shot by Ringo.
Ringo? That's my brother.
Your brother? What's your name?
Priscilla Pincus.
Wait, folks, you haven't heard anything yet. So you're Priscilla Pincus, the new school marm, eh?
Yes, I am.
Oh, no, you're not. You're Lucille Latour. I remember seeing you when you were singing and dancing on a riverboat on the Mississippi.
Oh, please, please don't give me away. I came out west to start a new life and forget the past.
Forget the past? Are you kidding? You were sensational. You were one of the greatest performers I've ever heard.
You really mean it?
Mean it? I'll say I mean it. Let's see, what was that number you used to do? There's a cue for a song if I ever heard one.
The minute you walked in the joint, I could see that you were men of distinction, real big spenders, good looking, so refined. Wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? So let me get right to the point. I don't pop my cork for every guy I see. Hey, big spender, spend a little time with me. Wouldn't you like to have fun, fun, fun? How's about a few laughs, laughs? I can show you a good time. Let me show you a good time. The minute you walk in the joint, I could see that you were men of distinction, real big spenders, good looking, so refined. Wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind?
If you own a boat, you'll be happy to know there are more Texaco marinas than any other kind. It's another reason more and more people put their trust in the Texaco Star.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Benny. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing. I'm a little tired, that's all.
Oh.
Good night. Good night, Joe.
Good night. Oh, Mr. Benny.
Yeah?
I have to run this vacuum cleaner. Would you mind throwing that switch for me, please?
No, of course. A birthday party. And look at that beautiful cake. Oh, my goodness, a birthday party, a surprise party for me. I can't get it.
Send for a doctor.
Happy birthday, Mr. Benny.
Dennis, I haven't seen you in so long. How have you been?
Oh, fine, thank you. Hey, you look wonderful, too.
Well, thanks. What are you doing here?
Well, I came to wish you a happy birthday, and here's a present.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Gee, Dennis, I haven't seen you in such a... What is this, I wonder? What is it?
Now it's a broken cup.
Oh, I'm sorry. Really,
Jack, that's such a beautiful cake. Let's eat it.
Well, wait a minute. Let me catch my breath, for heaven's sake.
Jack, I have a marvelous gift for you. I think you're going to love it.
Oh, this is just wonderful. What is this?
That's a charm from the Ponderosa.
It's beautiful. But what is it?
Well, that is the wisdom tooth of an enraged buffalo.
No. Well, thank you, Dan. I'll always keep it because I know I won't be able to give it away.
I gave him a broken cup.
I said I was sorry.
Jack, we all have presents for you, but why don't you open them after you cut the birthday cake?
That's a good idea, and I'll start the bubble machine.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
Easy with that now. Thank you.
I brought you a little present. It's a combination birthday present and Valentine's present.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Jack, you know, I've been working on this thing for days and nights, night and day and night, hammering, soldering, molding. And do you realize that for the last 3 hours I've been in there working like a dog?
Well, Jerry, you shouldn't have done that. Imagine being inside there for 3 hours.
Told you to wait in the heart.
You mean for 3 hours you've been in there with Jerry Lewis? What have you been doing?
We've been celebrating your birthday.
Well, my birthday, for heaven's sake, that was 3 days ago.
That's when we started celebrating.
Come on, Jack, cut the cake. I'm hungry.
Wait a minute. Look, before we cut the cake, I want Rovan to sing my favorite song, and I want to accompany him on my violin. Now, wait a minute. It's my birthday, and it's my party. I'm going to do what I want. Don, will you get my violin, please? The Stradivarius.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Benny. I've known you a lot longer than he has, and if anybody's going to sing, it's going to be me.
Yeah. But Dennis, wait a minute. Rovan is my guest.
I don't care. I sing as good as he does.
Oh, thank you, Don. Dennis, don't be ridiculous.
Jack,
what?
If he wants to sing, let him.
Yeah!
Well, okay, kid, what do you want to sing?
Your favorite number, Cuando Caliente el Sol.
Okay, all right.
I gave him a broken cup. Cuando calienta el sol aquí en la playa, siento tu cuerpo vibrar cerca de mí.
palpitar. Es tu cara, es tu pelo, son tus besos, me estremezco. Give me your love for a moment, for an hour. Love me always as you love me from the start. With every beat of your heart, every beat of your heart.
Look what you did to my Stradivarius, my violin.
Jack, if you think that's bad, look what's happening to the birthday cake.
Ladies and gentlemen, between Dennis Day and those penguins...
Hold on, Mr. Benny.
It's
time to do the commercial.
Oh, the commercial.
Yes.
Oh,
Here's
fine.
the coffee for you to rehearse while we set the stage.
Thank you.
Bring the microphone in. All right, lights up. Let's bring the sets in.
Let's see, fill up with Texaco Sky Chief because it can drive down the cost of driving. It can save you money. So you really should fill up. Remember, it will pay you to fill up because Sky Chief keeps deposits from building up on valves better than any other leading gasoline. So, ladies and gentlemen, get Texaco Sky Chief and tell the man to fill it up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Benny. Fill it up.
One gallon, please. Well, that's it, folks. But somebody handed me a wire just as I came on from my very good friend, George Burns. It says here, Dear Jack, happy birthday, and I didn't know you could send a wire like this. Oh. Anyway, I want to thank all of my guests for being on my show. And Lucy, come back here a minute, will you, please? Lucy, now that the show is over, how about going out and having a little drink with me?
Why, Jack Benny, I'm surprised at you. You're a happily married man, and I'm a happily married woman. How could you make a suggestion like that?
Well, I just asked you to go out and have a little drink with me, that's all.
Oh, sure, it sounds innocent enough, but it becomes a secret rendezvous in the dimly lit cocktail lounge with romantic music playing in the background. Really, I'm surprised at you, Jack. What would Mary think?
Well, Mary's coming with us.
Then forget it.
That's my show for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you all for coming to my birthday party.
Jack Benny's birthday special has been brought to you by
Texaco! Makers of Texaco Sky Chief. The gasoline that can drive down the cost of driving and save you money. So fill it up, Jack. Mr. Benny.
More and more people trust their car to the man who wears the Texaco star.
Well, hello again, everybody. This is Buck Benny speaking. We have my friend John Henderson from over at This Day in Jack Benny. We have Kathy Fuller-Seeley from a couple, it's getting more and more Jack Benny books, and she's got another one on the way, which I'm excited about. We have Terry Phillips with us from Imagine Air Theater. Imagine-Air-Theater, yes. Thank you, Terry. Good job. And anyway, today we are going to present one of our Jack Benny specials, and we haven't presented a special before, I don't think. And this is the one that is for his birthday, and so we thought we'd bring it to you around his birthday time, which this should come out right around that time. But before we get started, this is our first one getting together after Christmas. And so some of us had Darius Christmas presents. I'm sure John probably got the same present that I got in the mail. And I was surprised to get it. I was really excited to get it. It was this Jack Benny coffee mug that I got, International Jack Benny Fan Club. John, do you have yours that you can share with us, or? Do you have that?
No,
That's weird. Why wouldn't you? Wait. Oh, there's a message. Let's just see what this says. It says, Buck, please accept this as a token of my appreciation for your many dedicated years of service in keeping Jack Benny's shows alive. As of now, only 3 of these exist in the world. I've kept one for myself, given one to the great Laura Leff, leader of the fan club, and you have the 3rd and only other one in existence. Oh my goodness, John. Somehow they left you off the list. That's just so sad. Anyway, maybe next year you'll deserve to get one. I'm not sure. Were you on Santa's naughty list?
You know what? I think that she just knows that I have my own store.
Yes, you do.
Benny.com. You go to TeePublic, you can order exactly what you want instead of, you win this round.
Oh, and I have to show you the mug. There's only one in existence of this one. This is one I made myself. And so this has, let's see. It's got the wait, I gotta turn it. It's got the the operators on here, and they look like operators. We've got Kitzel, and look with the little hot dog in his hand. He looks like that little hot dog vendor. We've got Frank Nelson. We've got looking like a violin teacher. We have Mel Blanc. We've got Dennis. We've got Rochester. We've got Jack, Mary. We have Phil and Don, and then followed by the other of the operators.
That's
one of my favorite pictures, and it turned out really well the way they put it on the mug. So
that's wonderful.
It's one of a kind. It's my first attempt was this one, which doesn't look too bad when I hold it up, but it's just not, the picture just doesn't hold up as well. It's lower resolution, so it didn't come out as well. But anyway, so I made 2 various attempts over the years. I think this one is 15 years old, and this one I made last year, just experimenting with it. But anyway, those are fun to create your own Jack Benny mugs. Or if you want to save the time, not create your own mug, go to John's page and get. How do they get to your? Do they just go to your?
I think the easiest way is go to the website and then click on store. So thisdaybenny.com. And so next time I'll have to wear a t-shirt from
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. So look at that. I both insult him and give him a plug at the same time. Yes. Pretty amazing. The feud lives on. Anyway.
John, I'm waiting for the day when Buck will start insulting me. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping.
The year is young.
You see, if I treat you two like gold, then that makes the insulting of John stand up that much more. So, it's all good. But I loved it. The time he introduced it, it was so great how he introduced both of you and said, and Buck. It's just like I was just barely thrown in there. But he did actually mention my name and didn't just ignore me. So that was good. Anyway, so let's go to this week's episode. It was from 1969. It's our first. It's not our first Jack Benny color presentation. We had John and I did one for the Bob Hope special that was from 65, I think. And it was color. And I think it was Bob Hope's first color thing because he talked about that in there. Yeah. But it's interesting, Jack in color. You're just not used to it until he hits that string of specials from, I don't know, 67 on, I think, or something like that. He does almost one a year. And then those are all in color. Anyway, so this one, what did we think about it, and what stood out to you folks? Let's go to Terry first. Terry, what did you think of it?
Well, I am a sucker for a surprise opening, and so and I don't want to spoil it for the viewers, but this has a delightful surprise opening.
It does.
And so that was the first gem for me. The second was later in the program. There's a singer named Ravant, and I know that Kathy will talk about him, but he makes a reference to not being famous, and he had been on the Ed Sullivan Show prior to being on this special. Jack makes a joke that is based on a falsehood, which is this is his first time on television. And he said, no, I'd been on the Ed Sullivan Show. And Jack asked whether he was on the stage or in the audience. And what some of our younger viewers might not know, or listeners might not know, is that Ed Sullivan would, I think on almost every episode, point to somebody, introduce somebody who was sitting, somebody famous who was sitting in the audience. And oftentimes they were more famous than the performers on the stage. The last little thing I want to point out here is that it's important to read the credits. And in the middle of the credit roll, there was a credit for the two men who arranged and conducted the music for this special. And if I can do it here, I will play a clip of the television theme song that they composed, and that's why their names were familiar to me. And I see if you can hear this.
Barney Miller.
Exactly. That's the theme to the Barney Miller theme song. Yeah. And it was composed by Jack Elliott and Alan Ferguson, who were the two men who arranged and conducted the music for this special.
Yeah, great. And I think it actually became a pseudo hit, at least maybe hit the top 40 or something. I can't remember.
It might well have been. Oh, and I guess I should throw in one other little detail, which is that, I'm not a mathematician, but my calculations indicate that this was the 34th celebration of Jack Benny's 39th birthday.
Oh. That's great. It's great. And he says in there, he gives a little piece about that. He says something to the effect of any age you want to give me above 39 or something like that is fine. Anyone who thinks I'm younger than 60 or something, extra kudos to them or something.
And then the tiniest of the fire chief girls go, 75.
Yes. Well, the fire chief girls, let's mention them for a second. One of the smallest one is Pamela, I think it's Ferndon is her last name. She was the voice of Lucy in the Charlie Brown. She's the best known voice of Lucy probably in the Charlie Brown series. And there was multiple Lucys, but she was the longest running, I think. And then and she's appeared in so many things. She has a wonderful Facebook page where she's constantly posting old stuff of her, and she responds to fans really well. And she's just a delight to hear talk about what it was like being with all these people. I mean, she does relate Jack being on Jack's show a number of times and shows that picture. I think she does it almost every year on his birthday is what she does. And
speaking of the voice of Lucy, Lucille Ball sings on this episode, but it's not her voice.
Oh no, that was her. That was definitely. Really? It sounded just like her, didn't it? I mean, it was possibly think it was someone else.
My research indicates that the woman who sang for Lucy was Carol Cook, who was a close friend and protege, and also a redhead of Lucille Ball. We can place a gentleman's bet here. I'm going to say that was Carol Cook and not Lucy. Singing.
It sure didn't sound like didn't sound like Lucy to me.
Not even close. It was like so far. You would think you would get somebody that was in the neighborhood, and then she sang too well. I mean, you're going to get somebody to be the person. Get someone who can sing, but it has a little trouble because then you'll believe maybe it is that person.
But it was Lucy doing her own dancing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe. I mean, dirty old man that I am, or whatever. I couldn't believe Lucy's legs. I was like, oh my gosh! And what was she then? I don't.
She and Mary Tyler Moore had great legs.
Yeah.
Lucy was 57. I looked it up to
okay
at that point. And there's a couple of Damon Runyon written movies that Lucy is in, and she sings in those ones too. But I gotta say, the lip syncing is better in the movies than it was in this special.
Now, I swear I've heard her sing before, and she wasn't.
She was in the not Hello Dolly musical, but the.
Oh, Annie Mame or whatever, right?
No, it's.
He was in Annie Mame.
She's a matchmaker, right? So I can't remember at the moment.
Hello Dolly.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But what she sing in there? Was that her own voice? And that I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she doesn't have a terrible voice, but it could have just been time to. Did she have the time to actually learn the song and sing the song and the whole thing? And
she pretended to have a bad singing voice when she was on I Love Lucy.
Oh yeah.
She wanted to sing and nobody else wanted her to, but no, she had a very nice voice.
Okay, that's why I kind of thought.
Speaking of voices, how about our friend Ruvan? Ruvan was actually he grew up in Utah, and he was a child member of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. He's got some name like, Bob Ted Fred Smith, his real name, but for some unknown reason, he takes Ruvan, Rouvaun. I love his singing of the Mr. Wonderful song with Jack, sort of preening. That was kind of good. And the business of singing Breaking a Glass, because I always remember they would make Ella Fitzgerald commercials about is it live or Memorex, and the champagne glass would break. The very sad story about Ruvan. He didn't really make it. I don't know if he played out in Vegas or what, but he didn't become a big media star. And the poor man died at age 43 in 1975. He sang so hard that he ruptured his esophagus.
No way.
Wow.
Way. Says Wikipedia, and we know that must be true.
That's always accurate.
So
can't believe that.
Ruvan.
Yeah, wow, too bad Ruvan, but at least we have him preserved in this way forever, and we get to see him. So there you go. John, anything stand out with you on this?
Well, in this episode, there were some moments that were really great.
Yes.
And I loved the penguins. Now, that's not everybody's comedy style, but sort of the non sequitur thing. And Jack is the master of reactions. So especially when that first penguin comes out, and his reaction this is one you'll have to actually watch. I know we've got some people who just listen. You got to watch his reaction, and the timing is perfect on that to just build up the suspense just long enough and release it. It's hilarious. And the second penguin is like a ham. He's hilarious in himself. So I thought
I like how all the penguins have different personalities and things.
Yes, and then the little one on roller skates, you can't even figure out where he's going. They a brilliant job.
Now, when I saw that one,
letting a penguin do his thing.
Ooh, I don't know. Today, I think PETA might have gotten mad at you for abuse of your penguin and roller skates. Just like
again, reading the credits, they were from SeaWorld, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I also noticed a name in the credit which sounded familiar, and I wonder if anybody knows more information about Benny Rubin.
I saw he was in the end of the Western scene.
Okay.
And they had him standing there over to the side. He's the long-term friend of Jack Benny, who'd been on the radio show for ever. But he didn't have much of a speaking part, but maybe they just needed to throw him a couple $100. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, Fred Allen did that all the time with folks, gave him little things to do and money. And so did Jack. I mean, Jack had interesting people back on the show. Then of course the Dan Blocker piece was probably the centerpiece of the thing. It was long, and the skit that followed it with the cowboy skit showing traditional things that happen in cowboy films and making fun of them, and I thought it was good.
I thought that was pretty good observational humor.
Yes, yes.
And you've seen a lot of Western, you'll notice that. So it was pretty funny. I mentioned a couple of, or I caught a couple of references. There was Edward G. Robinson, of course, who's the famous gangster. He's like, come here, see?
Yeah.
I'll put you in a body bag, see, or whatever.
Well, that's a way better impression than the one we
I
had.
thought I'd better give an impression to contrast the one in the episode.
Yes.
And
John's like, I can nail this better than he did.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my chance.
And that's so if you were the writer or producer of this show in 1969, and you've got Woodstock, you've got hippies, and I just, in thinking back about it, how they threw in references to Jack Benny's radio years by having Dan Blocker and become fast friends with Don Wilson, and
Yes.
Don Wilson getting so angry about the fat jokes.
Yes.
That and having Lawrence Welk on, it's like, who was their target audience? Old people, right? So
yep.
Old people who had loved Jack Benny before, but then you see other things sort of thrown in, like a sort of dirty joke about Jerry Lewis and Anne Margaret. It's like,
Yeah.
So,
well, and Anne Margaret's outfit with the placement of her hearts and everything, it was like, okay.
Talk about something that wouldn't fly today. Unless
A little
maybe it was
sexist, yeah.
Yeah, but it just sort of thinking, when you study TV of the 60s, we mostly, most of the academic talk has been about television that was trying to attract younger people and sort of be hip, the sort of Mod Squad and Laugh-In kind of things. And this special that we were saying earlier before we started recording didn't seem, at least in the beginning, very special.
Right.
Seemed to be one of these interesting attempts to satisfy old folks. I want to say those who remembered Benny from his radio years.
Right.
That's or maybe thought that this was kind of like Vegas.
Right.
That kind of stuff. And so it just, if you put that next to some of the other things happening on television in 1969, I think it's really interesting, sort of this side of the spectrum.
Well, I think it's
Whereas
interesting to just compare
that side.
how Jack specials changed over time. This is when 69 is kind of when he's just accepting, I'm for older folks. That's just what I do. And he does that pretty much for the rest of the way out. I mean, he'll have acts here and there that'll be trying to target younger folks.
When we do the special where he parodies The Graduate,
yes.
and Phyllis Diller is trying to, in the bedroom scene, hotel scene, trying to seduce him. That is, on the other hand, so for the witted young folks. I look forward to us doing that special.
And that was
I don't remember which one that one is, but I do know that the early specials, like the one with the Beach Boys on it and things, he was trying to hit for a younger audience, or at least trying to bring on guests that were for that younger audience. And like I say, at some point he kind of seemed to kind of give that up, but it'll be interesting going through the specials. I mean, I think that'll be fun as we spend time with some of these.
This was on NBC?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, from what I read, CBS did some counter programming that same evening. They had a Lucy special on.
Wow.
And Lawrence Welk, whom we mentioned, was a guest on that show, and there was a reference to Jack Benny on that show. So I don't know who was spying on who here, but
so you could watch Lawrence Welk on two channels at the same time.
Not the same time, but that same evening.
Yeah,
I think a different.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was amazed though. I'm always amazed with these specials how he crams so many guests in, and some of them have not too much to do because there's so many of them there. And then he also often has just a walk-in like Jerry Lewis was in this one.
Right.
He has the same thing with Frank Sinatra on one of them and some other folks.
But you're right. The demographic was certainly not teenagers or 20-somethings.
Yeah. And
no, the youngest demographic was probably Rue Vaughn's or Dan Blockers. Well, and then I'll go on to Dan Blocker for a second. My claim to fame with that.
Please, we want to hear your story.
My dad was in Korea in the Korean War, and Dan Blocker was a lieutenant that was in his same area or whatever, and he'll tell stories about Dan, and he says that Dan was just one of those guys that everybody looks up to, and if you were going to go into any kind of battle, you'd want him with you because you just felt like he'd totally have your back and everything. And he was one that just everyone loved him, and he seemed to love everybody. And he says he would tell stories, and he'd have these, a group of 20, 30 people all standing around just listening to his story because his stories were so interesting and so entertaining. He just said he was just this wonderful guy. He loved to watch him on Bonanza, but it was so funny because Dad would be like, wow, he's acting. He's like, he is a smart guy and does not play the smart guy in that show. And so yeah, my dad had nothing but great things to say about Dan Blocker, and he was really saddened when Dan Blocker passed away. Not too much later than this. This is 69. I think he passed away in 72. I think maybe 73, but it was right around that time frame. He went before Jack, and who would guess that he would go before Jack? But just sad to think that both of those guys, we wouldn't have them. 6 years after this airing, they were both gone. So,
or Ruvan.
Yeah, and Ruvan would lose his voice or whatever at the same time frame. So, yeah. Anyway, so anything else to add about this one? Anybody have any other further stuff to go on this one? Or are we good?
Well, I would just say when you're watching, some of it can be a little bit slow, so you have to sort of look for the gems in it. So if you're not a Jack Benny fan, I would say, look for the 60s style and, some of the celebrities. And if you are a Jack Benny fan, look for the delivery, Jack Benny's delivery and timing. And Don Wilson is the best.
Yes. Oh, I got another piece for us that I'd love to see. I don't know what they call that. At the very, very beginning, the very first thing you see is a card that says, and they say, "The Outsider will not be seen tonight." And The Outsider obviously starred Darren McGavin. I know nothing about the series, but just seeing the card, seeing Darren McGavin, seeing that it was called The Outsider, I'm like, I'd like to research more about that, see if there's any episodes available of that show and watch them. And every single special has that where they're whatever show they're preempting. And so I'm always interested in this show because so many of the shows were not ones that are famous or it's not like they're preempting Hawaii Five-0 or something. They're preempting, and probably the reason they're preempting these shows is because they don't have many people watching them. They're probably not all that popular of shows. So they just kind of drop it in there. But it might be the only time you've ever seen anything from this show that lasted one season or something. And so I just think that's always interesting. Terry, you look like you have a questioning face.
Well, I was just trying to find The Outsider on IMDb, and it didn't show up in the a top level search. But I'm scrolling down to 1969, and there it is. Yeah, it was a series from 68 to 69, and
a whole year.
Yeah, an entire season,
or 13 episodes, whichever.
The synopsis is David Ross, played by Darren McGavin, is an orphaned ex-con loner living in a world that loathes and makes a living as a private investigator. So it's kind of a forerunner to that other series that he did.
Night Stalker?
Night Stalker?
The Night Stalker, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Night Stalker caught on a little better, I think.
But I think it's the same general idea, same kind of character and same, Kolchak type guy.
Yeah, Kolchak, yeah. Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Yeah, I love that series when it was on. I just love Darren McGavin. I like him in everything. He was in a show that they put out I love how now you can get like entire runs of obscure series on DVD, or whatever. And it was called Riverboat, I think. and it was from like the 50s, and it was the first acting job or first recurring role or whatever of Burt Reynolds. And so he and Burt Reynolds are in that together. And I just thought that was really cool. And then there was some kind of falling out between he and Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds, like, I want to say lasted half a season, and then they got rid of him. And I think the show ran for 2 seasons. And he went from that to being on Gunsmoke, I think, the following year, which was better for him and better for everybody, and really got Burt Reynolds known. And then he did Gunsmoke for 3 seasons. Then he was gone off of there and started doing movies and so forth. But,
you know, there's a great show from the 50s starring Lucille Ball. It's called I Love Lucy. And if you haven't seen that, check it out.
Really? That is it obscure? It must have run under a decade then, and one of those famous lost shows.
Well,
yeah.
Well, but another thing that doesn't get studied enough is how prominent these one-off specials were on 3-channel television back in the day. Because when I have shown the Star Wars special to my undergrads, and they just can't imagine as bizarre a thing of that is happening, and to try and tell them,
I can't imagine it either.
Yeah, there used to be, but in the same way, Terry, that you've just mentioned, there was a Lucille Ball special on opposite this. And we don't have those kind of specials anymore. No. Everything must be a Netflix series. Yes. You know, it's a kind of a lost art form. The wacko, put all these people together and make up some excuse to celebrate something.
I think the closest thing we have to it is probably Christmas specials now still that you have, and they're usually by like country music stars or something, and they'll do little skits and things, and it'll be somewhat reminiscent of these old specials, but still not the same thing. Terry, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I think we should pitch the networks to revive a special. We'll have a Jack Benny special.
I think that'd be great.
Well, there you go. Since what is it? CBS has brought back the Sunday night movie.
That's right.
Where they like showing E.T. and other great new hits. Let's do
that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's like Fred Allen saying, "Bring back vaudeville." We'll say, "Bring back the one-off network special."
Or just replay the Jack Benny ones. I mean, my goodness, they would. I'm sure they'd find a huge audience today. Maybe not. But I did want to say something about Lucille Ball that always stuck out to me. I mean, Jack's show ran a long time, 15 years in television, and not many shows have gone that long. And Lucy can't say that any of her shows have gone that long, but the whole time he's in television, Lucy is constantly on from 51 until 70, I don't know, 76, 75. I don't know when Here's Lucy went off the air. But every time she'd have a show that ran for like 9 years, and then she and Desi got divorced, and then she had her own show, the Lucy show, that ran for, again, 9 years or so. And then it changed to Here's Lucy, and that ran for, again, 9 or 10 years. So she had 30 years of shows. It was just 3 different shows that she had, 3 different titled shows. I don't know exactly. I don't even know why they changed from from the Lucy show to Here's Lucy or whatever. But I at some point she had kids that were she had kids that were not her own kids playing her kids, and then later on, I think but I thought they came on even at the end of the Lucy show. But anyway, Here's Lucy was about her and her real life kids.
Sure. May I tell you one Lucy and Jack Benny television story? Lucy and Desi very much wanted to have Jack on I Love Lucy. They were desperate to have him on, and he very much wanted to do it. Their sponsor, Philip Morris, would not allow the star of a rival cigarette show on. And this is so they dumped. So Lucy and Desi broke up with Philip Morris, their original sponsor, over Jack Benny not being allowed to be a guest star on their program. So,
wow. And they still never had Jack in I Love Lucy. He never appeared in any of the I Love Lucy's, nor
that's why.
Right. But I'm saying if they broke up with Philip Morris, you would. They could have brought Jack into it.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's probably at the same time, which is a shame, because I always thought man, that would be if he I mean, certainly the time that Bob Hope appears on there is just a famous classic episode, and the time that Superman appears on there is amazing. Jack Benny would be forever remembered from the I Love Lucy's. Now, she does have him throughout her other series, which is lovely, but I mean, they just don't have the same classicness of if he had actually appeared with her and Desi and everything, but not to be. I do love the color version that she has on her show of them going to the vault. And at the time, the rumor or the variety story about it was essentially the most expensive episode of television ever made was the one with his vault, because they had the alligators and they had, I mean, it's pretty cool little episode if you watch that one. The other one that I just love is the episode that she just turns over essentially to Jack, and it's the story of Jack Benny's life in the episode, and Mary makes her very last appearance as Mary Livingston. She doesn't, and she's not even in it. It's Lucy again doing her famous voice work where someone else speaks for her. She does one of Mary's poems or a letter to her mom. I can't remember. Letter to her mother.
Well, now that one's on a special, isn't it?
No, it's a regular episode of the show. Or maybe they did it again as a special too, but I know it's a regular episode of the show that I've watched. And so you see her dressed up as Mary, Lucy, but then Mary's voice comes out of her when she speaks. And I thought that was kind of a cool way to do that. We'll have to play that for listeners, because you won't see Lucy and all you'll hear is Mary's voice and you'll go, oh, it's Mary. So it's all good. But I guess we'll let it go at that and enjoy the show, guys. It's wonderful. I'm so glad we're back. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and we'll see how everything goes. Hopefully our country makes it through so we can have another week to do this, and we'll go from there. Anyway, everybody, bye everybody. And we're out. No, we're not. It's not letting me out. Wow. Now for something very special. Kathy, what do we have now?
We've got a trailer for our upcoming episode.
Wow. John, do you like trailers?
Ooh, do I?
All right, let's see it.
The Jackie Gleason Show.
I think when the annals of show business history is written, his name will go down as one of the greatest comedians of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, my good friend, Jack Benny. Well, pal, welcome to Miami Beach.
Thank you, Jackie, and I'm really glad to be here. But I wish you hadn't gone overboard on that introduction. Oh. Really, it's embarrassing. You know, imagine, you'll have the people hating me before the show even gets started.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, imagine calling me the greatest comedian in show business.
I said one of the greatest comedians.
Oh. Then I'll go out and come back again, huh?
You'll stay right here. The way you walk, by the time you went out and came back, the show could be over. You know, what? When you first walked out here, I thought you were one of the June Taylor dancers. You know the way
now
you
that's
walk,
one. That's one I didn't hear before. We saved that for the show.
Jack, believe me, I'm really happy to see you. And you know something? You haven't changed a bit.
Well, neither of you, Jackie, really. In fact, you look the same as you did the day I first met you. I would say about 20 years ago.
25 years ago.
No, it was 20, I'm positive. It was on my 19th birthday. Remember, you came to my party.
Oh, yes, that's right. How could I forget? It was the only 19th birthday cake I ever saw with 51 candles on it.
This Sunday, beginning at 6:30, 5:30 Central Time, a glowing ballet version of a timeless classic, Little Women, narrated by Geraldine Page.